My name is Adams. My government name, however, is Mathew Iyere, and I'm the co-founder of Masy Properties and Development Limited, the full name. My background is in tech. I'm a trained tech salesperson. However, I've always had a keen interest for real estate. So when Tunde came to me with this beautiful real estate opportunity, I was happy to go into partnership with him.
How did you meet, you and your partner?
Tunde and I used to work in oil and gas. Tunde was actually our accountant then, and I was the operations manager, even though I was hired as a tech person. But my role eventually evolved into operations and logistics. But working with Tunde, I saw his work ethic, and Tunde is the only person, in my opinion, that has outworked me till today. So seeing that, I was like, if I was ever going to go into partnership, this is the kind of person I want to partner with. It's a 50-50 structure. We have equal ownership, we have equal say, and we both have veto power. So we always have at least 5 whys to back whatever ideas we're pushing forward. Like every partnership, there's always, struggles, but I feel like we've managed to understand each other like perfectly. So it's almost like a marriage. So if my facial expression changes, Tunde knows what I'm thinking, and vice versa. So it's a beautiful partnership.
Why did you decide to go into real estate?
It started out as it was just research. I was researching, I was looking for how people could transfer generational wealth. And most of the research papers and videos that I came across always pointed towards real estate. And I was like, why can't I go into real estate? Because normally the idea you have about real estate is you have to be rich to go into real estate. But I always have the mentality of why not? So I was like, why not? Start small. So I bought my first property in Ibejuleki. I haven't told Tunde about it then. It was a struggle. It took me like 6 times to pay it off. But after I got that first paper, it opened my mind to more. I was like, why can't I get more? So once you start to ask why, then you start to find the answers. And I was asking why, and Tunde came up with the answers, and that's where we are today. I think it's not a simple answer. We were always talking about real estate. So prior to Tunde working with us in oil and gas, he worked for a real estate company. So that was his experience after university. So he always had the core field real estate experience. I, on the other hand, came in as an investor. So when I was looking for real estate opportunities, Tunde was the first person that popped into my mind. And I reached out to him. This was when I was in Australia. I reached out to Tunde, and he was telling me what he was already doing. I was impressed, but I didn't tell him. Normally, we play hard to get. So eventually, he came to me with a few opportunities. The first one he came to me with was a JV, joint venture. I was still skeptical. I had my eyes set on Ibejuleki, and we had conversations back and forth. We kept in touch. So we didn't stay in touch for business reasons. We were friends, or we are friends. So we just kept talking, and seeing what Tunde was doing, I was like, if we collaborate, we could make this something really beautiful. And that's what happened. So we've gone past that proof of concept phase where it was just an idea, and now we've actualized the idea, we've crystallized it into something, into what it is today.
Why the name Masy Property? Masy Properties. Why that name?
That's a long story, but I'll try to summarize it as much as possible. So like I earlier said, my government name is Mathew, and Tunde's name is Salawo. However, in uni, they used to call him Salawo Youth, hence the SY. So I was like, Tunde, what name should we put? He was like, call me SY. I feel like SY was his alter ego. So that's what he used to use to, run things then. So like, okay, first 2 letters of my name and then 2 letters of his nickname, hence the Masy. Because we put it among a few other options when we were registering the CAC document, and that was the one they selected. So that's how fate works.
How did you get started in real estate business?
It's been a long journey. In 2013 or 2014, I did my NYSC in Ibejuleki. That's where NYSC posted me to. It was a village then. So I hated going there. That's me being honest. I hated going there. And a year later, when I was going back to collect my NYSC certificate, I saw the changes that had happened in that area in 1 year. And I knew that that place was the future. I think that's when there were whispers about Dangote refinery coming to that area and other businesses coming there. So I had my eyes set there, but I didn't have money. Like we all know, people have ideas. Capital is always the handicap or the spanner in the wheel. So I was looking for how to raise money to buy property in Ibejuleki because it was super cheap then, but no money. I managed to buy one plot of land there from, can't remember the name of the real estate company. And then I told Tunde about it. So we were always trying to discuss with families. We know how real estate is very dicey in Lagos, Nigeria especially. And then Tunde, he speaks the language, he understands the people. And our first deal was with a family in Ibejuleki. So that's pretty much how we got started. We struck a deal with the family, we got the lawyers together, we did our social survey, and everything panned out. And that's pretty much how we started.
What type of properties do you typically invest in? What type of properties?
Our core business is land banking. So we buy land from families, we put infrastructure around, and then we start to sell the lands to people. We allocate each plot. We have, I would say, we've perfected that aspect of the business. So we're moving towards the next vertical. Maybe not moving, we're adding to our stack the next vertical, which is development. We've already started building. We manufacture everything in-house. We use bricks. And yeah, we've added that to our portfolio.
How do you identify potential real estate opportunities?
Real estate is like one of the oldest standing industries in the world. I feel like it's been in existence for probably thousands of years now. So we always have our ears to the ground and we have inserted ourselves in all facets of the real estate value chain. So we have a rich network of people from surveyors to architects to buyers to families that own large properties. So when opportunities arise, because we've established ourselves as those people that always give fair value, opportunities come find us. Eventually, we're going after these opportunities, but I feel like now most of our recent opportunities have come to us. So surveyors, our rich network of surveyors will inform us of a family who has good land and they want to sell. Then we do our due diligence and then we develop the land. Sorry, we sign the deal and then develop the land and start to sell to our customers. But it's a lengthy process. I've just summarized it into a simple, I would say, into simple phases. So to recap what I've just said, what I'm saying in essence is our surveyors discuss with families, they find opportunities, present these opportunities to us. We do our due diligence, it's extensive, and then we sign the deal, we get our lawyers involved, sign the deal, package it, and sell it to our clients. So that's what it's like in a simple form.
And then who are your target audience?
Initially, to be honest, we were targeting Nigerians, but you know how businesses are. They evolve into an entity of their own. So I would say a large percentage of our clientele are based in the diaspora. And I feel like that's because we all know the financial situation in Nigeria. People in diaspora are the ones that have the disposable income and they want to invest. They want to have a sense of ownership back and they want to have ties to their country. So I'd say about 72-75% of our clientele are based abroad, mostly in Europe and North America. But now we have a growing percentage in Australia because I'm in Australia. So we're starting to establish ourselves as the trusted real estate company in Australia as well.
What kind of returns do you typically look for in real estate businesses?
Average. We just want, like right now, because we are still in our growing phase, we're not looking for exorbitant returns. Initially, our plan was to get 25%. Our plan was to get 25% returns on every deal, just enough to keep us going. But with the way Naira is in free fall, if you borrow money in dollars, in next year, you would have lost at least 23% of your money. So the only way to stay profitable is to at least maintain a 47% margin on each deal. However, I was looking at our books recently, and our average return has been 300%. Now that's thanks to God. We started in COVID, and God has been really good to us. So average returns is about 3x, 300%.
Are there any particular locations that you focus on?
I feel like everything happens by chance. Our Because of our budget when we're starting, we could only afford to get sites in the outskirts of Lagos. However, now we've realized that there's even more value in those areas. And now that we're in real estate, we're deep in real estate, we can see the severe need or the severe lack of housing people have in these areas. So we have taken it upon ourselves to provide value to people in all those communities. That's why you see most of our sites in Lagos are in Ekpe, Ikorodu, Ibeju-Lekki. We're trying to cater to the middle class and I'll say low income earners. We want to give them value. They deserve to live a qualitative life as well. So we're giving the quality of service, the quality of projects and buildings you have in Lekki, Ikoyi, and we're delivering that to places like Mowe, to places like Ikorodu, so those people can be happy and be proud of their own living arrangements.
You've tended to the middle class and you've tended to
Low income
the
earners.
low income earners and the high income earners. Which class is easier to deal with?
The truth is, I would say high income earners are easier to deal with because they make your work easier for you. They've done their research. So you don't have to spoon feed them every detail. And they know how to validate information that you give them. However, it doesn't mean that we don't also cater to low income earners. The truth is, selling to people is the same thing. The amount of effort it will take you to sell something worth 5 naira is the same effort it will take you to sell something worth 50 naira. But you have to see where you're needed. You have to see where your value, your input is needed more. And that's where we insert ourselves.
How do you mitigate risk in real estate investments?
We have tales to tell there. We've been burned a few times, but you see, it's part of the learning curve. It's part of the growing pains. Now we know how to do our due diligence. We have a process that is mapped out. So before we sign any deal, we have our surveyors who come on site. Then we have an independent surveyor who rechecks what that first surveyor has done. We have people in our Lausa office that can validate whatever documents we put in front of them. We do a social survey, and this was something we started, I think, about 2 years ago, and it's been beautiful because in as much as we're dealing with families and small entities, you can see sometimes you buy property from a family and there's disunity in that family. The younger brother is not happy with the older brother, and that small chaos can cascade into something big and impact your business as well. So we go around, we talk to each member of the family, we talk to neighbors, we talk to the ballers of these communities. We ensure that this family, they are in unison and they are in agreement, because in as much as they might have good land deals or a good location, any disruption from that family would be detrimental to your business. So we ensure that there's unity, we ensure that there is conformity, and we ensure that the baler is informed before we proceed to sign any deals with these companies or families.
What are your strategies for financing real estate deals? Do you have investors or is it self-financed?
So far, we've been bootstrapping the business, and like I said, God has been good. We are fully self-funded. It's not like we're discouraging investors. It's just because we know the value we want to bring. It might be hard to sell a long-term plan to an investor. No investor wants to hear that they get their money back in 10 years. So we've realized that we have to grow slowly and we have to do it ourselves, and we're doing it very well. So every money that comes into the company, we reinvest it into the company to continue to grow organically. So there are some deals that we have to put aside because we don't have capacity to fund it yet, but soon enough we'll soon have, because we've been building our track record. The banks are starting to see the turnover, and we've been in conversations with these banks to see how we can expand and continue to self-fund ourselves.
How do you handle property management and maintenance?
Oh, we have a dedicated team for that. They are properly trained, and I feel like once you document your processes, you have a system that works. All you need to do is just plug and play different people, and there is an ecosystem that feeds itself, that works on its own, and that's what we have in place to ensure quality doesn't drop.
Okay, so did you hire a company to execute this maintenance, or is it still staff of Masy Properties?
We have a mix of full-time staff and contractors who are working to ensure this quality is maintained.
Can you share any success stories or examples of projects you've successfully completed?
Oh, yes. There's a brick house we've just recently built for one of our customers in the UK. It wasn't the easiest of journeys. We initially were only doing blocks, like cement blocks, and this customer was like, he wants a brick house. So we went to do our research, and we found out that it was going to be expensive to build with brick, but he was adamant about building with bricks. He gave us the reasons, but we didn't know then. So we decided to invest in a brick machine, and that's one of the best investment decisions we've made. We built his house. We made a few mistakes, but it was a learning curve, and now he's super happy with what we've done for him, and that helped us, I feel like, grow internally in terms of construction, because we try to do everything in-house. Whatever we can do, we outsource. But before we outsource, we need to ensure that we know what we are outsourcing so that we can supervise and ensure that quality doesn't drop. So that's one of our success stories, building a brick house from scratch and gaining that experience in brick construction.
What's your main recurring challenge in real estate business?
Recurring challenge. There are plenty. Where do I even start from? I would say labor. In as much as labor is cheap in Nigeria, the quality of labor is hard to ascertain the quality of labor you are getting from just a CV, because once you start to grow, I'm sure other real estate companies will be experiencing this as well. You have people who are dedicated to siphoning and stealing from you. Instead of them to think about how they can give value, their own is how they can steal a few bags of cement, sell your rods, and just take from you without giving back. So I would say that's one of our biggest challenges, ensuring that whoever we hire is there to provide a fair exchange of value and not just take from us.
How do you stay up to date with changing market trends and regulations in real estate industry?
I think social media helps. We have a rich, like I said, we also have a rich network of people in the real estate space, surveyors, civil servants who work in Alausa. So these relationships keep us updated. Whatever we don't see from the news, we hear directly from people working in those spaces, and we always ensure that we move with the times, so we stay nimble. That's one of the advantages of having a small and dedicated team.
The last question, but not the least, what are your future plans or goals as a real estate entrepreneur?
I think that ties into our mission and vision.
Yes.
So I would say, look, originally, most people who go into business, like me, I'm no saint myself, it's to make a living, to earn a living. But then once you get to a point where you've successfully escaped poverty, you realize that everything else that you get on top of that is, what's the word? It's vanity. So we have pretty much all we need now to feed our families. Now we're trying to see how we can create a legacy, and we want to give back, fair exchange for value. So we're trying to give like I said, low income earners and the middle class, great living conditions. If you go around the houses in Lagos, you see that the finishing is horrible. The piping is a disaster. And all these are small, small things that people compromise on. If you look at the price difference between proper piping and the inadequate piping that you see, is not so much in the long term, because how much you spend repairing these things over time would weigh,
Surpass.
yeah, it would surpass what you would have invested to do the right thing from the beginning. So I would say what we're doing is we're showing people that you can do the right thing and you can still make money and you can still exchange value fairly without, extorting the next person, which is the general mentality.
Can you leave us with a word of advice, like something to resonate with us as you sign out?
A word of advice, I would say trust your guts. Once you start business, a lot of people want to give you advice. And you will notice that 98, 99% of this advice are words of caution. Oh, don't do this. The person is Hausa, the person is Yoruba. They will steal your money. Be careful. Nobody is ever like, just do it. What will happen will happen. God will be by your side. It's always don't do it. So there's a lot of negative advice, which you should still listen to, but weigh them and be sure that it aligns with what you want for yourself. So to crystallize what I've just said, take a year and be a yes man throughout that year. Every opportunity that comes that year, say yes to it, follow through, and see if it pans out. So say yes to your next dream.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate the interview. Thank you.